One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. This is your daily drop for the 16th of April. You guys have heard us talk about it before. We do have the Operator Training Summit coming up in San Diego on the 21st and 22nd of June. If you guys are interested in doing that, you're talking about mentorship, instructorship, deliberate training, and intentional training to get you efficient in the water, get you efficient in running, rucking, calisthenics. We'll have some mentorship sessions. We are providing camping for Friday night and Saturday night. The cost right now, well, not right now, but the cost for this event is $450 for a weekend. And like I said, we take care of your lodging, and then we'll feed you. And then more importantly, we're going to train you. And that's what's great. And what this isn't, is it's not a smoke session. It's not a hell week or anything like that, because we don't do that kind of stuff. We are just doing intentional training to help you prepare and get better for the pipeline. Even if you're not in the pipeline and you want to come join us, like absolutely come and do it. If you want more details, you want to get thrown into the roster, hit us in the comments or send an email to jared@onesready.com and we'll get you added to the group chat. Before that, you guys know it, Barbell Apparel, barbellapparel.com, stretchy jeans, stretchy joggers, stretchy chinos, dress pants, havoc polos, graphic t-shirts, workout t-shirts, dress shirts, any kind of running short that you want, or just workout short. They've got a sale going on, buy two, get one free of the lowest priced item. And they also have that lifetime guarantee. No promo code upon checkout. Select One's Ready to let them know we sent you. And if not, hit other and then type us in, and we'll go from there. You're going to love what they sell. That's barbellapparel.com. If you're new here, this is the news that gets curated by Public Affairs Office at the Department of the Air Force and then sent out to commanders and chiefs throughout the Air Force. And what I'm doing here is just kind of condensing all of it, because it's actually an extremely large document. I'm condensing it all, giving you just kind of a bare bone to what it is, and then any kind of insight and insider baseball or just my opinion on it, should I have one. All right, let's start with the joint news. Spacecom moved to Alabama. The Defense Department Inspector General report found that keeping U.S. Space Command headquarters in Colorado was a judgment call balancing cost and readiness. Despite Air Force studies favoring a cost-effective move to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, senior DoD officials prioritized readiness concerns, though no formal decision was announced after a 2022 environmental assessment. It probably does. It probably is more cost effective, because when you start talking about land and housing and facilities and labor and that kind of stuff in Alabama versus Colorado, like there's that delta is probably massive number. So it probably is more cost effective. The problem is that, you're going to get a lot of people that aren't going to want to move. A lot of civilians, a lot of contractors that aren't going to want to move from Colorado to Alabama. So I don't know. And like I said, like I said, this is the first time you're hearing it if you haven't listened to the others, but you'll know if this is going to happen or not once real estate in near Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, or surrounding areas starts getting bought up. Or you'll start seeing prices go up. That's how you know that it will for sure happen, because it's happened in the past with other Air Force bases and military installations. So, next, civilian relocation concerns. Senior DoD officials worried that over 1,000 employees would not relocate from Colorado to Alabama. Holy cow, I just said this. U.S. Space Command headquarters moved to Redstone Arsenal. Despite Redstone being the preferred location, President Biden decided in 2023 to keep the command in Colorado Springs, with estimates suggesting fewer than 5% of the employees would move. Yeah, man, when you're established in Colorado, because, Colorado Springs is ridiculously expensive, but it's also beautiful. and then you go, hey, I'm going to up and move after I'm already established, already own a house, and I have the option to not move, like you're probably not going to move. Especially if it's not someplace you want to go. And if you're not from the South, which I'm from the South and I like the South, but at the same time, like it is definitely not for everybody. So if you're not used to that humidity, brother, it's going to wreck you. All right, next. Pentagon advisors leave, or Pentagon advisor leaves. Senior Pentagon advisor was placed on administrative leave following an investigation into unauthorized disclosure of classified information. The DoD is using polygraphs to investigate leaks, and the advisor was involved in military strikes against Houthi rebels, revealed through a mistaken signal group chat inclusion. Looks like this is the first little bit of fallout from that signal chat then. See what else comes out after that. Next, Defense Digital Service resignations. That's a mouthful. Jeez. Nearly all of the staff in the Defense Digital Service, a 14-person team, will resign by May, effectively closing the office due to hiring freezes, bureaucratic challenges. The team, initially expected to support AI adoption and streamline DoD operations, faced issues with unauthorized tech tool waivers and limited resources. Well, this looks like it's a kind of multi-pronged issue here, but yeah, 14-person team is not a massive team to be doing this for the DoD. One. Two is things like this. Like, this is not the only agency that is being hurt right now by this hiring freeze. So in my opinion, we've really got to lift that hiring freeze here really soon, because things are going to start getting worse before they start getting better when it comes to mission readiness and, taking some of these projects forward. So yeah, we need to lift that hiring freeze. Let's do it. All right, next, this is Air Force news. The B-21 Raider at Ellsworth Air Force Base. Ellsworth Air Force Base is set to receive a B-21 Raider, a sixth-generation stealth bomber in the mid-2020s, introducing revolutionary technologies like open architecture and advanced weapon systems. The arrival is expected to bring approximately 1,500 new airmen to the base, enhancing its strategic capability. 1,500 sounds a little low, to be honest. I figured it'd bring more than that. You start talking about pilots, crew, the support structure for those crews, munitions, weapons, maintenance, POL or fuels people. Like, yeah, it's, there's probably going to be more than 1,500, but I don't know. That might be about right. All right, next. DEI book review in libraries. Air Force and Army libraries have been ordered to remove books related to diversity, equity, inclusion following the removal of 400 books from the Naval Academy's library. The Air Force Academy is conducting a deliberate review to comply with interim and final book lists due by 30 April and 30 May, respectively. Cool. Well, we'll see what happens. We've talked about it before, and it's been reported about in terms of malicious compliance and people just wanting to maliciously comply is really what it is. So, because they're bad actors, or they disagree with all of this. So they're taking their ball and going home like little poo-poo faces, right? So, anyway, next, former commander sentenced. The former commander of the 88th Air Base Wing was sentenced to 21 days in jail, a $14,000 pay forfeiture, and a reprimand after pleading guilty to disobeying a superior officer's order and fraternizing with a non-commissioned officer. The commander was relieved of duty in December of 2023 after violating a no-contact order. Dude, the base commander sleeping with an NCO? Oh my gosh, this is the first I'm hearing about that. Man, dude, you guys have got, if you're an Air Force leader out there, you have got to keep your nose clean. What are you doing messing with an NCO? Like, come on, man. It's just like the classic Master Sergeant E7 that get a new airman into their unit or their section, and they're like, "Yay, just start hitting on them." Like, come on, dude, you guys got to be better at this. Next, AFSOC leader fired. I know exactly where this one's going. The top enlisted leader of the Air Force Special Operations Command was relieved of duty due to loss of confidence in his ability to perform amid an ongoing investigation. The AFSOC commander emphasized that upholding high standards of conduct is non-negotiable for maintaining discipline and trust. Don't have any insider baseball to it, but rumor has it that the Office of Special Investigations, which is like the NCIS of the Air Force, has an open case on him. I don't know what it's about. No clue. I don't want to speculate. But yeah, that's no bueno for sure. Space Force news. Ground radars for space awareness. Ground-based radars are being explored to enhance the Space Force's space domain awareness, complementing space-based systems to fill coverage gaps. Systems like Leo Labs, Seeker Radar, and the ground-based operational surveillance system are being tested to track launches and maneuverable satellites. Yeah, that makes sense. Think of layered effects, right? You wouldn't just rely on one system to cover you down. You need multiple systems that are providing layered effects. That way, if one of the system fails, or maybe whatever it is able to get through the first layer, you have subsequent layers that are also helping to protect. Next, METROLAND's jammer testing. Space Force counter-communication system upgraded with the METROLAND's version is ready for formal testing, offering broader spectrum coverage and increased automation to disrupt adversary satellite communications. U.S. Space Command is pushing for more offensive space capabilities to deter potential adversaries. Nothing to add on that one. Childcare cuts at bases. Peterson Space Force Base and Fort Carson are reducing military childcare services due to a recent 2-week hiring freeze, impacting staff availability. Affected families are being supported with off-base childcare options at no extra cost through Colorado Springs, though Colorado Springs faces broader childcare shortages. I don't know why it's just Peterson Air Force Base and Fort Carson. Maybe that just happens to be the one that's the loudest squeaky wheel, but this is happening everywhere. I know it's happening on Nellis Air Force Base. There are active duty enlisted officers. There's government civilians that utilize the CDC, the Child Development Center, and they are employed by, or the employees are government civilians as well. They're not civilian contractors. So the hiring freeze is impacting that severely because and it's not that the civilians are quitting, like maybe some of them are, but really whenever there is a permanent change of station and an active duty member that happens to be married to a government civilian who also happens to be one of the child care minders at the CDC, they PCS, they leave. So that position goes vacant. And with a hiring freeze, that creates an issue. So it's not just mission readiness and operations that is becoming an issue. Like, it's also affecting people on their personal lives and their work lives, because that's going to translate over. So we've got to lift this hiring freeze. Like, it's crazy to me. Also, with that, what you're probably not tracking is that the government moves extremely slow. So if you were to go, let's say, apply for a job and you were hired at company, let's just call it something that everybody knows, like Starbucks, right? You're supposed to start at Starbucks. You're interviewed, you're hired. And that's on a Thursday or a Friday. You start on Monday, right? Like, it's pretty easy. The government, though, if they pick you, it's still about a month to 6 weeks before you actually start your job. There's that much bureaucratic bullshit that is in there, and it takes a long time to actually get hired. Like, it's insane. So even if they do the hiring freeze, you're still talking a month to 6 weeks before somebody gets in there, because they have to advertise the position for 5 to 10 days, business days. They have to advertise the position. Then they close it. Then all the interview happens, right? And then once somebody is selected, then all that process goes through. So it's a consuming thing. Like, this is not just, it can be an easy fix but because the government is so big and so inefficient, like it's wild. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. Anybody out there that knows, comment, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, next, these are of interest. The U.S.-South Korea drill. The U.S. and South Korea conducted a joint military drill with B-1B Lancers and fighter jets to demonstrate deterrence against North Korea's nuclear program. The exercise coincided with the North Korea celebration of its founding dictator's birthday. Happy birthday, Rocket Man. Philippines, U.S. Balikatan exercise. The Balikatan 2025 exercise involved 9,000 U.S. troops and 5,000 Filipino troops and international observers, is being treated as a defense rehearsal amid tensions with China. The exercise aims to enhance combined operational capabilities and strengthen regional alliance. Yeah, we're the Pacific's getting tested right now. Hypersonic weapons testing. Rocket Lab's HASTE vehicle, that's capital HASTE. I'm not sure what that stands for, though. Anyway, the HASTE vehicle was selected for U.S. and UK hypersonic test launches, supporting the development of hypersonic glide vehicles and payloads. This effort is part of a long-term strategy to build a robust hypersonics technology base, despite the U.S. Air Force and Navy halting their missile programs. Yeah, well, we're behind the power curve when it comes to hypersonics, that's for sure. F-35 spare parts strategy. European F-35 operators are securing spare parts to avoid supply bottlenecks, with Norway establishing a maintenance center and Italy servicing most European jets. The Netherlands and Finland maintain parts hubs and reserves to ensure operational continuity during contingencies. Cool. Canada's fighter jet options. Canada is negotiating with Saab to procure Gripen fighters as a potential alternative to the F-35, which faces challenges due to the high cost and the U.S.-Canada trade tensions. The Gripen offers lower operational costs, potentially allowing Canada to field more aircraft or redirect funds to other assets. Sure, you can go with the Gripen, but I'll tell you what, right now, like, it doesn't hold a candle to the F-35. So yeah, you may be able to get more, but you're getting more of a less capable bird. So, collaborative combat aircraft funding. The Air Force's Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program, critical for future readiness, requires full and timely funding to succeed amid a modernization crisis. Budget cuts have reduced the Air Force's fleet to its smallest and oldest, with low readiness levels and further straining capabilities. So, between this and the one that I just talked about with Canada looking at the Gripens because of lower costs and they can field more of them, like, I guess it depends on what you're looking for, right? There is something to be said about massing aircraft, massing people, massing tanks and vehicles, because you have the numbers. They're less capable, but you have a whole lot of more numbers. The other side of that is, you go with a higher cost option, so it's lower density, but a more capable platform. So I am not a strategy person or anything like that, because you could look at Russia. Russia has numbers, right, against Ukraine, but then you start throwing in, F-16's capability, and I get it. It's a much less capable aircraft when it comes to like munitions and F-35s and stuff like that, but it's still a lot more capable than some of the aircraft that they're fighting against from Russia. Just because you have the numbers doesn't mean that you're automatically going to win, because logistics also win wars. So I'm all over the place on that one, I admit, but it's just a thought. I'm not saying that the F-35 is the end all be all and it's the answer to Canada's, acquisition of aircraft, but you got to decide what you want. Do you want high density with lower capability, or do you want higher capability with lower density? Last one, nuclear deterrence in Europe. Europe faces renewed nuclear deterrence challenges as conventional defenses alone may not counter Russia nuclear threats, requiring a reevaluation of U.S. nuclear commitments. Questions about shared European nuclear defense including France's proposals, remain unresolved and will shape global security post-Ukraine. Cool. I got nothing on that. Again, appreciate everybody joining and watching. Let me know what you think. Are you guys enjoying these, or am I wasting my time? All right, later.